We can now add Janet Yellen to the growing list of Biden administration officials speaking loudly and proudly, publicly, in support of cannabis legislation reform. David Lander reported in Reuters that the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said on Thursday she would welcome legislation that would rectify the conflict between federal and state laws on the sale and use of marijuana that is preventing cannabis firms from accessing the banking system. When asked at a U.S. House of Representatives Appropriations Subcommittee hearing, one day after HHS Secretary Javier Becerra forgot that cannabis was Schedule 1 on the issue, which forces cannabis businesses to hold large amounts of cash, Yellen said this: "I think it's a real problem, and it would be desirable to have legislation that alleviated this problem." Republican Representative Dave Joyce said that he had raised the same issue with former Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, one of Jason's boys.
Mm-hmm. Steve's my guy. Right? Steve's my guy. We hang out at the Beverly Hills Hotel.
He dodged the question, and little has changed since then. Yellen also has previously said the issue is an impediment to collecting taxes from cannabis firms. In response to Joyce's question about her position, Yellen said that she would potentially welcome legislation in this area that would clarify for banks what their responsibilities are. The fact that marijuana is outlawed by the federal government creates an impediment to banks' willingness to provide banking services to cannabis firms, and it creates all the problems that you are all familiar with. For the article, Yellen did not specifically speak on the provisions that she considered crucial for such legislation, nor comment on a measure passed last year by the U.S. Senate Banking Committee that aims to expand the industry's access to traditional banking services. "I think legislation may be necessary to raise the comfort level that banks have been doing in this business, however," she said. Democratic Representative Steny Hoyer said that he would assist Yellen and Republican colleagues in passing such legislation because the current situation is putting businesses and employees at risk. "I'm neither a user nor a suggester of using. The fact of the matter is every state that voted on it has made it legal." Every state. It's not necessarily true. But with the exception of Becerra fumbling the bag on Wednesday, it's beginning to look a lot like all the Democrats are falling in line with pro-cannabis reform rhetoric. It does not mean whatever does happen in what I believe to be Biden's premeditated October surprise will be perfect, or any of us will agree with actually what comes out of it. But I do believe that the age of top-tier legislative ignorance towards mainstream cannabis business issues, if it is not already, it will soon be a thing of the past. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. Let's talk about it.
Man, Janet Yellen. I mean, in all honesty, I'm glad to see that she has evolved on this position. It seems like at least a little bit, but I believe that it's probably just nothing more than lip service and placating to the left to try to pander for votes for Biden.
She said it before.
She said it before? So she's just on repeat? Is that what you're telling me?
No, she come out in support. Early last year, she came out in support saying that she supports legislation that will move banking forward because it's not an issue that's not going to go backward. That's going to go backwards in time.
Well, she gets it. She gets it at least. She knows that you can't shovel that much sand back into the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Mnuchin dodged the question and literally told reporters that asked him about it, "Next question."
I mean, that's Steve, bro. That's Steve. That's how he is.
That's Steve. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying. Like
he didn't. He wasn't
night
ready.
And day.
He wasn't ready to answer.
Night and day what the previous administration was doing. And it looks like
I would totally disagree on. I would totally disagree on that because Trump actually signaled to get safe banking onto his desk. And he verbatim said that he said get something onto my desk, and so I'm not buying your rhetoric.
I am buying that the Democrats are talking about it and the Republicans did not talk about it. That's what my point is, Jason.
Well, maybe the reason that they're not talking about it is because there's nothing happening on any of these fronts, and the Democrats are just using it as whistleblowers and dog whistles to try to rally people. Just saying.
Honestly, I think they're not talking about it the same reason they are having disagreements over the border issues. It's politics over practicality. Yellen is just an economist. She's just speaking her truth.
And a bad economist at that. Just saying.
All economists speak from a subjective voice, with a subjective voice. They have different theories on where the economy is going to go, and none of them can agree what the word economy even means when it comes to.
I can tell you where the economy is going. It's going in the shithole.
Okay, you're the money expert. I love it, man.
Just saying.
But I think this is very, very indicative of the Biden administration is telling them he's taking his muzzles off of all these people.
You think he's taking muzzles off? He can't even take his shoes off.
He's taking the muzzles off
Stop
of his
it.
administration, of all these people, all these Democrats that were higher up cabinet members and stuff like that who did not answer to any of these issues until that State of the Union address. As soon as Joe Biden said something, like all of them are saying shit now, and it's looking a lot like they're all on the same message.
You are just virtual signaling, bro. This is total virtue signaling right now.
You trying to get a rise out of me, man? Like,
I can't believe you're virtue signaling on this stuff so much, man. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. I can't believe.
Like I said at the end of my story, I'm not saying anything good is going to happen out of this. I'm not saying that we are going to agree with what they absolutely that they eventually put forward at the end of the day. What I am saying is, it looks like they're all on the same message, and they're going to be moving forward with some sort of legislation. It will be under Democratic legislation.
Let me tell you something.
Written by Democrats.
Okay, let me tell you something. Democrats couldn't pass something around cannabis legislation, even if they recruited Troy Aikman. Okay.
What?
Yeah, straight up.
What's Troy Aikman got to do with it?
Because he's a quarterback, bro. He passes things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I couldn't believe you couldn't figure that out.
Pass a kidney stone over here, bro.
Oh, boy.
Wowing.
Just saying.
You're trying to make this all. I just want to comment on Janet Yellen. Not just Javier Bachera, but like all these other Democrats, high-level Democrats.
Say that again.
They're all.
Javier Becerra.
It's the one issue that is uniting Americans. Everybody else is split on everything else. You talk about immigration. You can talk about, I don't know, Gavin Newsom's record. Any hot button issue in America, women's rights, is going to divide America, and it's going to break down and devolve into political bullshit. But when it comes to cannabis, that's something everybody can get behind. And it looks like Democrats are seizing the moment to move forward with their rhetoric.
Democrats have not seized the moment at all. They've had numerous opportunities to do so. I'm not buying this hype. This is just more hot air coming out of this administration. That's my opinion.
It could have happened under the last administration, but they did not.
It could not have happened under the last administration, bro, because he needed to do it on his second term. The Democrats would have been chastising Trump if he would have passed some sort of cannabis legislation in his first term. They would have been like, oh my God, he's legalizing drugs. And they would have been, all of a sudden, it would have been Joe Biden in full force, his old school anti-drug war veteran and all of that. That's what would have happened, because they would have.
Tomorrow's not promised, is it?
Just saying.
Tomorrow's not promised. That's why you get shit done today, baby.
Oh boy. Don't worry. He'll be back. He'll be the 3-time champ after this next election.
Got to win 3 times to be a 3-time champ, and he did not.
He won twice.
Elise, do you have any comment on Janet Yellen's Janet Yellen coming out in support, testifying in support of cannabis banking and moving legislation forward on with her rhetoric yesterday?
I have no comment. I think you saw me over here just packing up a dab, because this story's just like on repeat. And as someone who works on the payment side, you know, we really need this act, and it's just so frustrating to hear the same news, the same. I mean, it's felt like years. So exactly. I try to, if I don't have anything nice to say, I'll say nothing. And my comment is negative. It's just, I don't know when this thing will actually pass, honestly, is all I got.
It's going to pass on September 29th. Right before October.
Stop it,
it's gonna
bro.
Be the October surprise. It will be the premeditated October surprise, and it'll be the knockout punch needed For the 3-time loser.
3-time loser? Who are you talking about?
The 2-time and 3-time loser himself.
He's been winning all his cases. He's been winning all of his elections, and he's going to win again in November. Can't wait.
Oh my God. All these cases?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's been winning all his cases.
E. Jean Carroll, he's about to lose all these buildings.
That's
man.
not even a real case, bro. Come on.
That was a real case. It had real implications.
Stop it.
And you know what? Like, he was found liable of sexual assault. We can talk about
by
that.
crazy banana court republic judges, bro. This doesn't mean nothing.
Next story.
Are you saying you don't believe victims, Jason Beck?
I definitely don't believe E. Jean Carroll was a victim of Trump at all whatsoever. I think that's total horse bullshit. Horse shit and bullshit, both types of shit.
Well, the judge found him very liable, and his
that's what happens in kangaroo courts, though.
His
Rico?
behavior in court made it very, very easy to make that decision, and his own asinine legal team chose not to have a jury for the entire trial. So it seems that he is a 2-time loser that is liable for what he did in the past, and he even saw a picture of her in the deposition, and he thought she was his ex-wife. So I don't know what you're talking about, Jason. Like, your boy has been implicated for his past discretions, and it is what it is.
Nah, it's all bullshit, bro.
I believe E. Jean Carroll.
You can believe all you want. You know what I'm saying? You can be a believer. Ain't no one gonna stop you from trying to believe in fake icons. It's okay.